In this first Sunday of Easter, I would like to meditate with you in one idea that comes in all the readings. The idea that the God in whom we believe, in whom we have to believe, is a God who has the power to change realities, and to change realities that are dead realities, if you want, into life realities. We can see that especially in the responsorial psalm and in the gospel too. A life without God is a life that doesn't produce anything. A life without God is a barren life. We cannot give anything. Even if we may think that we can do it, we believers know that without God there is nothing. It's just barren life and unfruitful life, nothing. The second reading shows in a beautiful way, and I would like to invite you to go and read that chapter 5 of Revelation, because the first part is a worship of God the Father, and the part that we read, that we just heard, is how it is the worshiping of Jesus Christ, the resurrected Jesus Christ. So that God who has the power to restore life where there is no life. And the responsorial psalm goes deeper into the same theme. I would like to give you some ideas that I think we can meditate and can give us beautiful insight about that theme that I just said at the beginning of my homily. I'm going to read some sentences. Oh Lord, you brought me up from the nether world. The Hebrew term is Sheol, in the place of the dead. So the psalm is saying that God is a God who has the power to bring people up from the place of the dead. And he continues, you preserved me from among those going down into the pit. The pit is the same place, the place of distress, the place of great suffering, physical or psychological pain, and God has the power to bring us up from those places. God has the power to reverse realities, to change realities. This is what I was saying at the beginning. Later, it's beautiful. He said, I'm saying he because I think it was a man, I don't know, it can be she. The person who wrote the psalm, I don't know who was that person. You changed my mourning into dancing. So it is a huge change. It is a person who was totally distressed, suffering, physical or psychological pain, and God was able to intervene and change that reality into a beautiful and wonderful one. The person was mourning, and now that person is dancing. It is joy. I was saying that it is the power that God has to change realities, bad realities into wonderful realities. And there is another sentence that is wonderful too. Some people may say, oh, he is suffering or she is suffering physical or psychological pain because maybe that person committed a sin. Remember the book of Job? Job is actually beautiful in that way. The friends of Job is telling him, oh, you are suffering because you did something wrong maybe. You committed a sin. And Job is saying, no, I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't commit any sin. So God is the God who can change that. And it is said, for his anger, they said the other sentence, for his anger lasts but a moment. A lifetime his goodwill. Another translation different than goodwill is favor. His favor is there for a lifetime, forever. He may be angry, but it's just for a moment. Now, there is a very important thing. That doesn't mean that a moment is 1, 2, 3, 4 days. Maybe not. And we have to exercise something important to be able to understand what I'm trying to say today. The time, God's timing is very different than our timing. So maybe it's not only 1 or 2 days, maybe years that we have to suffer. I'm sorry to say it that way, but it is what it is. But the point is that God has the power to change that, and his favor is going to last forever, lifetime. And what we need to exercise, I was saying, is patience. We have to be patient. But God has the power to change realities. So to celebrate Easter and to read this responsorial psalm, this gospel, this second reading about from the book of Revelation is an invitation to really believe and experience that God who has the power to change realities of death into realities of life. To know that and try to experience that every day. And second, to be patient and know that God is going to do it and that he can do it. Sooner or later, he can change whatever we are suffering, whatever we are experiencing that is not good, he can change that into a joyful reality. And the last thing that I want to say is how the gospel is saying or is somehow teaching us what I was saying at the beginning too. Without God, we cannot do anything. It is beautiful how the gospel shows that different realities. When the apostles are fishing by themselves, they knew how to fish because that was their profession. St. Peter knew how to fish. He was a professional fisher. He caught nothing. Even if he knew the activity, his profession, without Jesus Christ, it was not a good fishing. Jesus Christ intervenes in St. Peter's fishing, in the apostles' fishing, and now it is abundance. With Jesus Christ in our lives, everything changes. Everything is going to be different. So I want to invite you in this Eucharist, in this Mass, to really put our trust in that God who changes realities, who intervenes in the history of human beings and can transform our lives into something greater, into something that we cannot imagine, into something that we have never dreamt, into something really new and wonderful. So let us put our lives in that God, in the confidence of that God, and let us abandon each one of us into his care. Please stand.